Whether we like it or not, he's the self-proclaimed governor of Mid-Missouri, and he's the host of TTBS, the podcast. Here's Tom Bradley.
Thank you, Nikki Garman, and welcome to it live from Truman's Bar and Grill. I still have people that walk in here, Ellis, and they go, "This place is open this time of day?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Where are you from, man?
Yep.
Where are you from?"
I didn't know until we started the show. So.
Yeah, you from Teetotal in Oklahoma or something like this? Son, you're in the middle of Missouri. We open our bars in the morning. When do you expect somebody to have themselves a cold beer? What the hell is wrong with you? I was listening to a song the other day, Sunday Morning Coming Down, and in the lyrics there, written by Chris Christopherson, he says, "I woke up this morning," I'm paraphrasing, "with a beer, and it went so good I had another one for dessert." You know, it's like, that's one way to start off your Sunday morning. No, Truman's is open every morning at 6 a.m. A lot of people have breakfast here. Our guest this morning had breakfast. Ellis Bennis is back. You were out at, was it a church camp?
Yeah, it was a youth church camp. We took 14 teenagers in a van that the air conditioning only worked if I was going downhill. And so, you know, if you've got to have some kind of discomfort in your life, it was fantastic.
Can you turn that into a sermon for these children?
100%.
Because if you're going downhill, air conditioning's going
The air
off.
conditioning's great, yeah. When you're going uphill, it's
You're gonna
real.
need it.
Yeah, I love that.
It's
I'm going to
all
write
the
that
way
down
through.
right now.
Well, welcome back. I'm glad you got to you take time off to go work.
Yeah.
Which I really
Yeah.
greatly appreciate from you. Truman's, by the way, they are going to have themselves, speaking of a beer, first thing in the morning. Budweiser this year, along with the nation, celebrating a big, big birthday. On Saturday, the 4th of July last week, we celebrated 250 years.
Yep.
Beautiful. Budweiser, 150 years.
That's amazing.
Going to have themselves a 150th birthday party coming up at Truman's Bar and Grill on Saturday, June 20th, starting at 7 p.m. You should be here. You don't turn 150 very often, so you need to celebrate that.
Just once, in fact.
And get along with that. Ellis Bennis is with floatingaxe.com. That's web design and management, and business is good.
Yeah, I'm staying super busy.
The internets are still working, and
Yeah.
people still going there.
Yeah,
on a
and
regular
AI
basis.
hasn't stolen my job completely yet, so I'm very grateful.
Someday it will.
I think so.
And you can join me in the unemployment line. Today's guest on TTBS is a friend of our show and a local. I had a trouble figuring out what to call him.
Yeah.
For why
That's
he
a
would.
long resume.
It is.
Yeah.
So when he joins us in a few minutes, I'll go, what the hell? What is it you do around here?
What would you say you do here?
And so I called him local political driver. And since he plays golf,
I think he'll like that one.
I think he likes that a lot. Local political driver Randy Minshew will join us. We'll talk about things like the proposed 1% safety sales tax for Columbia, the statewide Prop 5 attempting to remove Missouri income tax. What? The Boone County jail tax, which I think jailees should be taxed on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely.
We vote on that in November, the other two in August. We'll get into a lot of stuff and talk about it. Also, following up with Randy, we'll go to Keep Your Eye on the Crap with Family Focus Eye Care. We will talk about my eye appointment with Dr. Rich. And when I say keep your eye on the crap, and I bring up the word floaters,
Oh,
that makes you think of.
yeah.
But I had to go see Dr. Rich because of floaters in my eye, and we'll get into that and chat about that.
Right on.
I know, right on, except I don't want to say right on. I was saying crap. I don't want to.
Get it out.
Oh, get that out of there. It is time for our Improve I-70 update with Emery Snap & Sons ESS, your locally grown, employee-owned company, and they've got this millions and millions of dollars job, and they are out there busting their butt on I-70 now from Columbia to Rocheport. Did you get to see the video I shot this week where I was speaking in front of
Yeah. Yeah, it was like just, man, it was so cool. Yeah.
Have you gone by there on I-70?
Yes, we drove to Kansas City to go to
this camp.
Yes, and we drove right by it.
All right, it's unbelievable. They had to first grade the area
Yep.
to get it ready for something, and this is an area between an on-ramp and I-70.
Right.
And you know how an on-ramp can sometimes create like some sort of a little, like a triangle or
Yeah.
some circle or something. This spot is so important to this going on. They graded that to get it ready.
Yeah.
Then they put an asphalt plant in there for like 3 weeks. Then they took that out. Now they have an actual concrete plant that they have brought over, dropped into that thing, and it will be producing concrete for the next 3.5 years.
It's like a transformer. They like bring in these trucks, it's like, and then boom, there's all these towers and everything. It's super cool.
So
Super cool.
that on its own is an update. Now, while that has very little to do with your traffic today
Right.
and new lanes that are popping up and old lanes that are gone and everything else that we keep telling you, stay informed with MoDOT, especially following them on Facebook or any social media under MoDOT Central District.
Yeah, MoDOT Central. Yeah.
And if you're there, you'll see things like, for instance, now this is not specific to ESS work, but it is close to us in Callaway County. The U.S. Route 54 ramp onto westbound I-70 is now open.
Thank the Lord. It's been so annoying because I go to Kingdom City constantly because we live in Millersburg.
Does that have to do with your Christian attitude? I'm going to the kingdom.
I'm going to the Kingdom City. The story behind why it's called Kingdom is fascinating, but I won't get into that now. But yeah, you had to go down that outer road until I think it's, what is that? What's the next exit down? Is that Hatton exit, right?
I think that's right.
Yeah, and so you had to drive that little outer road. So I'm very grateful
that
that's
sucks.
open. Yeah, it was rough.
That is
when I went to get my
uncool.
Arby's, it was real difficult. I was really suffering, guys.
And you should be able to get to your Arby's anytime that you
Listen,
you need that.
They have the meats, bro.
Yeah, I know they do. But that ramp is open now.
Good.
There's some roundabouts at 54 and 70 now.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of the Rangeline Business Loop intersection under I-70.
Okay.
It's that like double dog wishbone kind of thing or whatever. That's very, very similar to what it feels like.
But I read something online this week that a woman said these folks coming in from St. Louis, it's like they just don't know roundabouts.
Yeah.
I'm like, you fools.
Yeah.
If you want to understand life with a roundabout, there's two places you should go. All right? Rome. And I'm not talking Rome, Missouri, which there probably is one. Or you go to Columbia. And around here, folks, around here we got roundabouts.
Yep.
And you got to
I
get
love
along
them,
with
though. I really love them. Like the one over here by, that way. Conley Road Walmart in front of Aldi there. That intersection is so much better as a roundabout.
Look,
I love them.
I do too, except that if they build them incorrectly to where one direction almost has a straight shot, and they think they can run through there at about 38 miles an hour, and you're like, oh no.
That defeats the purpose.
Yeah. We got to slow them down. We're going to put a bigger curve on there, and then they're going to go, be like, yeah, bitch. now you know. But please, by all means, stay informed on what's going on with I-70 with Emery Sapp and Sons and with our show, and follow us on social media, and slow the hell down. I'm going to tell you that all the way through. It is time for our announcement of the week. And brought to you by Creekside Pet Center, along with their sister locations, Bed and Biscuit. Both of those are in Columbia. And Dirty Harry's, which is in Boonville, and they do a fantastic job. So many people are heading on vacation now, and they're dropping off their puppies and kittens and gerbils and parakeets at Creekside Pet Center. And Dirty Harry's, by the way, I got to mention this to you. Dirty Harry's in Boonville, they have 3 full-time groomers.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, really? People from Columbia will drive to Boonville to get their pups groomed up there.
That's amazing.
So keep that in mind if you're looking for something.
I wonder if the trimmers could handle my back.
Your back? Is there a level of grooming?
Oh, my gosh. I didn't mind chest hair. I didn't mind back hair. But when they joined forces, I really
You've really turned into Gorilla Man.
Oh, my gosh, dude. It's terrible. I'm losing it all off my head, and it's going everywhere else.
How would you like in the podcast sometime for us to do a live waxing?
Oh, my gosh. Wow. No. Let's see. What is that? 40-year-old virgin? Do you remember he screams out, Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, Kelly Clarkson. That was like real.
Yes.
He's talked about it.
They really waxed him. Oh, man.
That was really real.
Bleeding.
Here's the big announcement this week, and I don't want to make this like it's just important that you know. The Riley Strain family civil case has been dismissed. Riley Strain was an MU student who went on a trip with his fraternity to Nashville, and he had a lot to drink. And he stumbled through parts of Nashville till he wound up in the Cumberland River. And he lost his life.
I did not know about that.
And they found him downstream. Now, this was going back a couple of years ago. And it's a tragic, tragic story. But after all the work was said and done, it's pretty obvious that he was a young man who was over-intoxicated and, in fact, was not overserved at the bar that he left and wound up going and eventually being in the Cumberland River. He was not overserved, and they cut him off.
Oh, wow.
So it didn't happen there. It was probably multiple places, and probably also he had his own stash as well. I mean, there's no way you can know. And actually, the fraternity members did what they could and what they should. And by the family filing this wrongful death case thing is like, it's tragic. I don't know what to tell you. But bad things happen to good families. And it doesn't mean that you need to file a court case and sue somebody. And they put about 25 people or something on this. It's now been thrown out. But it was done with no prejudice, which means the family could come back and file it again. And if they did it once, they could do it again, and they could wind up with another attorney that convinces them it's worth it and says, we're going to come at it from this angle, and it's different, and your first attorney didn't have this idea, and we're going to do it. And they could come back around.
Is it not a double jeopardy thing because it was thrown out? Because
because it was done without prejudice. It just said, this thing, you didn't set up the case properly here and here and here, and we're throwing it out.
Okay.
Which means those people, including young men who were part of that, and may have been close friends to Riley, maybe they could wind up being called back into another court case. I don't know.
That's sad.
So I thought it was a big enough story that I wanted to bring it up. It feels like a follow-up to what we've talked about several years ago, specifically on my radio show, when we were following that on a closer basis. So I wanted to make sure we got into that. All right, time for our guest this week, and this is someone I've known a long, long time. And I don't even know where I begin to explain that thing, except, God, we made some good radio and television commercials, am I right?
We did.
All the way through.
We did.
I list you as being a friend of the Tom Bradley Show and a local political driver, Randy Minshew. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom.
You think that works, a political driver?
That's good.
Yeah, that's. I've never heard that before, but I think that's. I think that's a good idea.
Well, I'm looking at the word activist kept coming to mind, and I'm like, I don't think of you as an activist. And activists usually are on a street corner protesting something. I don't think I've ever seen you to protest, have I?
No, you won't find me on the street corner doing anything.
Let me also say, do you have coffee?
I do. I do.
Let me also say, congratulations. 51 years clean and sober.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Would you tell me, does the journey change from 25 to 35 to 45 years? Does it change, or is it the same journey?
Well, it's different, because life is different, and our life is different. Cindy and I, we've got 4 grown kids and 8 grandkids, and so, but I continue to do the things that kept me sober when I had 25 years. I continue to do those things today, and to me, the recovery world, at some point you become a lighthouse, and I'm here to help. My service to the community that has the same issues that I have with drugs or alcohol is part of what keeps me sober. So the service work I do, it just reminds me of being a lighthouse. I'm here if somebody needs me, if somebody's got an issue, if they've got a family member that's got an issue, I'm here to help.
I reached out to you.
Whether they need to get into detox or anything else.
I reached out to you at one time. You probably remember that. Maybe I've reached out to you more than once. I don't remember. But not because I was wasted at that particular moment. But I reached out to you, and I had a family issue going on in the broader sense of family, and you were helpful. You must get a lot of people reaching out to you like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's the idea that once you deal with an issue like this, you move on and you don't tell everyone about it, or you keep it secret, or there's some anonymity thing. And there is a part of an anonymity principle to the programs that I participate in. But for me personally, I can't really help the community if they don't know that there's a guy like me that exists who can intervene and can help. I understand the issue. I understand the struggles. I understand it from a family standpoint. I understand it from an individual who's had those issues. So, it's a service to my community.
A few years ago, when I had scheduled back on my alcohol consumption, and people were like, "What?" I mean, look, for the guy that brought the local community, the Missouri Beer Festival.
And bacon and bourbon.
Yeah, I did that too. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
There might have been some tacos and tequila in there at some point. Always provided food with.
Yeah, it was always
it was about the food.
Yeah, it's really about the food, guys.
But when I was making that known, look, I've done a shift and I'm pulling back on this thing here. I had friends, I had zero idea that came out of the keg cooler and said, "I've got a problem and I'm working on it." I said, I had no idea. And they, because I had been vocal publicly, they shared it with me, and I was like, wow. And they go, yeah, it's been really bad. And I'm like, I didn't have any idea. And they're like, no, nobody did. And I keep that in the strictest of confidence of who those people are. But I had no idea. But being out there gave them a chance to come and find me and tell me that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, when you're having an issue, or you have a family member who's having an issue, it's like, where do I start?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't. Where do I go? And so, I think that's what I've sort of spent a lifetime doing, and I can help in that area. So if somebody's got an issue, you can reach out. Everybody knows how to get a hold of me, or you can find me on Facebook. So.
I put this in my notes up front because I think it's important as we talk about a lot of politics. We were all human beings, and we all have our own stories. And some parts of our stories are glorious, and some parts are so deep and dark, and it's bad. And I think all of us have some of both of those.
Sure.
And but I want to bring that up, the human aspect, as we get and talk about this, because if we don't talk about the human journey when we're talking about politics, what the hell are we talking about? Why are we even talking?
Yeah.
So you have politics, you have policy because you have a society, and once it becomes a society, two people go, let's make a village. It's like, great. All right, you carry the stones and I'll hang out. Wait, hold on. I don't know. We got to start having rules now. And so that becomes the thing. And by the way, some people like Ellis, you love to work.
Oh, I do. I really do.
Do you
enjoy
like
it.
physical? Like if I said we're gonna move some bricks
It's
today.
my absolute favorite thing.
Is it
100%.
really?
Yeah, I worked landscaping and lawn care for a decade, and I miss it. I make fun of myself because I was like, I'm over here clickety clacking. I was like, I know this
what
isn't
you do
man's
now.
work anymore. Yeah. So no, I've ripped apart 2 houses, restored them. I'm working on a shop and another one now. It's like it is my favorite thing. Like I love what I do. Don't get me wrong, but when you can look out and there's like a whole kitchen I've ripped apart and put the whole thing back myself. There's a sense of pride there that a website or an app is not. It's not that same feral power.
I get the same feeling of power and change when I empty.
You've done the same thing at your
I empty
house.
a dishwasher.
When you,
That's all I. That's
You're
all I gotta
being
do.
modest because I know you've ripped up your kitchen floor. You've
I've
ripped
done
apart your house. You've done so much.
Some
stuff.
of it on accident, but let's talk about let's begin somewhere that we have to,
Okay.
which is in Columbia and a proposition coming up on August 4th on our ballot, and it's Proposition 1. It is a public safety sales tax, which I think the name of it, I'm okay. I think it does tell us what it's specifically all about. Some people will put names on a ballot issue, and it's like, what do you mean we're all better people if we vote yes on this? That's not the name of the...
How do you feel now after you voted?
Right, right. Randy, you don't have to tell me how you're going to vote on this, but I want to hear a lot of your thoughts on this right now where we are. But before you say a thing, I'm going to tell you I am so torn on this. I could go vote either direction, and I think from the view right now, still be happy with myself. What do you think about this proposition?
Well, to me personally, this is something that should have happened years ago. And the reason I say that is because once you dedicate a 1-cent sales tax for public safety, the local government, whoever's in the mayor's office, whoever's in city council, will have some control over how that's spent, but they can't take it out of that fund. They cannot go spend that on anything else. It's in public safety. It'll go to police and fire. That's what it's for. So if it ends up with a positive balance at the end of each year, that could go back to paying down the retirement fund that's severely underfunded.
But just to understand, what we had talked about a couple weeks ago was this is called a public safety tax, but isn't there not a specific fund? This one doesn't it go into the general fund so they could use it for other stuff?
No, they
no,
cannot.
They cannot. Okay.
Right now, the way it's just like your home budget. The concrete out front, the driveway is cracked and needs to be replaced, and it just sits there for years. It's because it didn't make it up on the priority list of things that needed to be repaired. And then one year, it gets repaired. It's like, well, because Mama got her new kitchen, right? We replaced the windows. The roof was leaking, more important than the concrete. At some point, that, everything becomes important enough. In Columbia, public safety, while it's talked about a lot, never becomes a true high priority, and we end up with 40 less officers than we should. How does that end up happening? It's bad management. I mean, you can't look at it any other way. How do you get to that point? Well, there's all kinds of excuses, but in Small business, you would never get to make the excuse and stay in business, right? You can make an excuse, but the consequences are coming. In city government, you could just make excuses, and then we'll spend the money on something else, and then the next thing you know, now we got 45 less officers than we need based on the population or the square footage of the city. So it never becomes important enough. And then someone gets elected, and now we make it a priority, and then 3 years later somebody else gets elected, or you get a new city council member, and now things are voted on, and the city council votes on where to spend the money. And so it never becomes a priority enough. Once you do this public safety fund, then the council will still put in the budget. They'll be in the budget. Let's say we're at $66 million right now for public safety. It'll go to $60 million. The fund will take up the other part of that. But if there's $10 million left over in the fund in a few years, that money can be spent on things to do with public safety, and it cannot be put back into the general fund.
That's good to hear.
It does lead me to wonder, could we ever have money left out there? We need to spend so much in public safety, and I do recognize there's no question about it, because people like you and I have been watching this for years saying it is a priority for us, and it's not being addressed by the city management as if it's a priority, as you've just explained. And so I'm glad they finally put it to that level. But I have a tremendous fear that we're putting more money into an organization that I feel like they just like throwing it in the dumpster and burning it.
Well, and I don't disagree with that. So let's think about it this way. We when I was a kid, Pensacola, Florida, I'm not sure why. We lived in Houston. We were 45 minutes from Galveston, but Dad wanted to go to Pensacola, Florida.
For vacation?
For vacation.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, we're big time in it.
Yeah.
So, but if we ended up somewhere in Missouri and we're off track and we've been traveling for whatever, and you go, well, we've got to get a new car, or we've got to, some tragedy, something happens. And then you just make decisions based on this moment right here. Like, we forget how we ended up in Missouri. Let's don't worry about that. Well, and that's kind of the way it feels with the city. It's like, time out. How do we end up in this situation where we need a public safety tax because you won't put the money towards what should be the most important thing in our city, which is our safety, the safety of the citizens of Columbia. You won't put the money in there, and guess what? They won't. Yeah. And it's a reality.
Well,
and it's
the city
mayor
manager needs
mayor.
another assistant. He's only got 4 or 5. He needs another one.
We need 50 people for communication department.
Yeah.
So it's obvious that it's not important enough. So is it the right thing to do to create a fund? If you just be realistic and look at this the way it is, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. And how do I know that? Well, let's look at historical data. This is the way it is. We're here because of the way we think, because of the way we vote. And that's council member after council. You just go back over time. It's not just the current council people. It's just council people in general. We just don't make it a priority. And so that is the reality. So if that's the reality, we need this 1 cent sales tax.
I get your story on the Pensacola, Missouri deal, although I didn't understand your dad taking you from one beach to another. But
I didn't either. And I didn't get a boat either. So.
I get it. You wind up in Missouri, you got a flat tire. It's like, well, how did we get here? It's like, right now we have to fix a flat. I understand that. I certainly do. It's really interesting on this. The people that have wanted safety are the people that generally lean from the center to the right. They're the ones that have been voicing it the loudest, the longest. They're the first ones that say, I need to support the police department because I need safety. They're the last ones that would ever say something like defund the police. Right. While those to the extreme left were voicing things like that during COVID and after COVID about defunding police departments across the country, the most insane thing I've ever heard. And yet now I find the conservative portion of me, and I have parts of me that are all over the map, saying we need to prioritize safety. But I can't endorse what the city is right now, what the management is. Right. The people that would love to endorse what the management has been doing are also the people that generally don't mind at least talking about the idea of a new tax. So I see those who are centrist left and then to the extreme left probably voting yes on this, which is weird because they haven't been the ones loudest saying, why are we so understaffed in our police force in Columbia?
Right. Well, I think there's a good chance that this will not pass, although I personally am going to vote for it because I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face. We need public safety, irrespective of how well the city is with, where they appropriate the funds. And, I serve on the Finance and Audit Committee for the city, so I see that. I see where it goes. And
do you see stuff that we're not allowed to see, or
no,
is
no,
everything you
everybody,
see public?
Yes.
Okay.
So the difference is that if you sat in that meeting once a month, you would be, I'm intentionally studying it. I'm intentionally looking at it because I'm supposed to offer some guidance to the city council as a group, as our committee is. We spend the money where we say we're going to spend the money. There's no funds in there that are being misappropriated.
Right. Like the mayor's travel fund.
But if you told your accountant, hey, write the checks to these companies, and then somebody called and said, hey, you didn't pay your bill to me this month. Well, that accountant of mine, no. Time out. This is not on Matthew Liu and the city finance department. This is not on them. They're spending the money where you told them to spend the money.
Sure.
Right. So this idea that we need to audit, then that's what comes up as soon as you start talking about adding a sales tax. Well, hang on a second. Let's audit the city finance. The city hires an accountant firm every year to do an audit. And I'll guarantee you that the state watches Columbia just like they do every other city. There's no shenanigans going on there. Now, so it's not it's not being spent in places that they weren't told to spend it, and there's no hidden fund. All of that's a bunch of nonsense.
We may just disagree with where they're spending it,
now,
right?
I disagree with where we're spending it, but it is being spent where they were told to spend it.
It's above board and it's legal.
It is. Yeah. This is all in the management. This is all in city council.
Yeah.
And I have a built-in sort of distaste, if you will, for the mayor because she beat me. So shame on her, right?
I can see how that would happen.
So, but the one, and a lot of people say, well, she just won vote on the city council. Yeah, BS. She gets to put the agenda together, right, and talk about things we're going to vote on. Now, the city council votes on the budget, but the where things are going to be spent, that is all done by the council and the mayor, and so you can't tell me that there's not more influence on the mayor's point.
Well, there's a lot more. First of all,
Oh,
she represents all the wards in the city.
Right.
So she is. If you ask somebody right now, who's your city council person, they're like, I don't know, in their own ward.
Right.
But they know who the mayor is.
Sure.
So when everyone knows who that person is and that person opens their mouth, yes, there's an ability to influence and make a difference, make a change,
Right.
drive something into your own direction. She is very much in support of this tax. Not everyone on the city council is. As I talked to a city council person yesterday that said, I don't know why. I go, why is it they all want you to, why do they think you should be in support of it? Your job is to figure out what's going on and represent what you believe are the interests of your constituents and where the directions are the best. And you've got the chance to go through this that they don't right now because you've got your nose deep into it. Why would someone expect you to support it? Why does the city have a website to talk to you about why we need a safety sales tax? Why isn't there a website that says, here are the 6 reasons why, here are the 6 reasons we shouldn't pass this? Why are they a proponent for the sales tax?
Well, because they can take if the budget right now, if they're giving $66 million to public safety, they can take $6 million of that back, commit to $60 million every year. That $6 million then can go into things that are more important to the city council than our public safety.
More assistance.
And this is, and that's part of the problem that we have is that they can move some things around over in the general fund if they so choose.
Right. So there's not enough money in the. There's not enough money coming into the city right now to do everything that needs to be done. And that's just a fact. So there's infrastructure projects. There's streets that need to be widened. There's water towers that need to be put in. We delayed putting in the electric grid with fund that we received, we got $30 million. Now it's going to cost $50 or $60 million because we didn't do it when we should have.
Right.
From a previous mayor. So there's not enough money to go around, and so from a city council standpoint, I could see where they would be, and I would expect that they would be a proponent of it because it really moves that off the table and becomes a non-issue because it's like the park tax. Every year, every time you buy something in Columbia, that money goes into the park tax. The city council doesn't have to decide whether we need to repair the shed at one of the parks or whatever. There's money sitting in there. Now, technically, they anything over $5,000 has to be approved, but the money's in that fund, and so they don't think, well, if we don't repair that shed, we can pay for some homeless program or something, right? The funds cannot, right? It cannot be reappropriated. Yeah, to that. So, if I were a city council member, I would vote for this. But that being said, if I were a city council member, I'd want to back up in the analogy of us going to Pensacola when I was a kid and ask my dad, listen, we've tried this 3 times. Every time you say we're going to Pensacola, instead of getting on Interstate 10, you get on Highway 59, and we end up in Arkansas somewhere trying to get to Missouri.
Dan,
and he
how's
would
it
say,
working out for you?
He would say, I don't know, right? So that's the way it feels every time you see something happen with city council and with the current mayor. It's like you're on the wrong road. If we're going to get there, no, you're not. You need to go east. We're headed north, but we got a feeling we'll get there.
It really is 2 different subjects going on here. One is, do we need a safety sales tax? The other one is the council doing the right thing over the last 5 to 25 years?
Right.
Where are we? It's 2 different subjects. And I really like the way the cops put it with the CPOA.
Yeah.
They said, you can either vote this down, and we're still working with a city council we don't appreciate and think are doing the right thing, or we can vote for this, have the safety sales tax, and continue to work on changing the city council. Now, the reason I put it in the same ball of wax is I feel like I'm going to give the city council that's in the wrong direction that keeps going to Missouri, I'm going to give them a safety sales tax to take care of one of the problems, and they're going to feel, and the city's going to see it as an endorsement of their directions.
Yes.
Which means they'll continue going down that path. And those people in support of things like what Barbara Buffalo is supporting, believing that she's a good person, and that's why they're going to re-elect her again.
Sure.
Instead of looking at it and saying she's a person who never prioritized safety in the city. She's a person who has never been concerned openly about the transmission line and substations that we didn't put in.
Right.
She is someone who never got in front of the problem with this lack of a water tower and lack of water pressure. She's never been on those things. But she's sure making it to that climate pact with the other 39 cities and signing something with them from around the world.
Right.
Yeah.
We're one of only 2 small cities that got involved with that from the United States.
Right.
Columbia, Missouri, and our newly found sister city of Columbia, South Carolina. That's kind of interesting that we signed into that damn
Are
thing.
they UM or OM? South Carolina. Which one are they?
It's still UM.
Well, and I
So
mean,
yeah,
if you-
I've got all these issues, and I need to see a therapist about this. I recognize that. I get
Right.
that. And that's why I'm talking to you. I'm hoping
yeah,
that you
yeah.
talk me down at the cliff.
You're good at therapy, right,
Yeah.
Randy?
Yeah, that's we should talk, Tom. I mean, I see what you're saying, but I still say because we have, if you just look at the makeup of the current city council with Democratic Socialists and environmentalists, the smartest thing we could do is to create a public safety sales tax and get this away from those people.
Yeah.
I mean,
That forces the dollars to be spent on
it
something that
forces
makes
the dollars
sense.
to go there.
Because if you ask me, it's not just about bitching about the crime's too high and this and that. In my mind, I see a positive vision. I see a security force making this like Disney World out here. I see cops doing their thing and other support staff of police and fire and safety doing their thing around town, which could be downtown ambassadors.
Right.
When we're worried about shootings downtown and you put an ambassador out there that's unarmed and not a sworn deputy, law enforcement, then it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But in that Disney World vision that I'm seeing, I see Chief Schluty in a big, beautiful corner office at the new police headquarters on Lamone Industrial Boulevard. I see all of this. I see multiple locations where we have, I won't call them precincts, but we'll call them substations of the police department as well. And I see a population that not only feels safe, but the bastards who want to break the law, they decide this isn't their place for doing it. There's just too many damn cops here.
Right. Well, and so that goes into a whole different conversation about prosecutors and judges and, laws being enforced by the police department, but then we don't carry it out. And so, which brings up the other topic about the sales tax for the city jail.
And that's coming up in November.
Yeah. And so, and I would, based on the same principle that I would, reasoning that I would vote for the public safety tax, I would be in favor of the tax for the county, because public safety has to be the number one priority in any town, So, and again, I go back to, if you have a pot full of money and you decide X amount is going here and X amount is going there, the history would, if we looked back at history and said this is where you chose to spend your funds, you couldn't argue that, well, it wasn't that important to me, but I put the majority of the funds there. And so we are living, Columbians get to live with the decisions that our city council makes. Now, and I will make the point, I don't blame it on the people who voted for Barbara Buffalo or for the Socialist Democrats or for anyone who's on city council. I don't blame
By the way, I
people.
want to point it out that people who have been called that on city council, generally, they're the ones who name themselves.
No, that's right. I'm not making a
I
slur.
know,
I'm
but
just
I want to
using
make sure everyone understands that.
No,
This isn't a bad word. It's something that someone is calling themselves.
Sure.
That is now on the city council.
Yeah. No. It's what they promoted themselves as. But the fact is that Columbia does not go vote. And so
What are our percentages? Do you know?
like 20-25%.
Holy
I mean,
cow.
it's
Of
ridiculous.
registered.
Of registered
Yeah.
voters
Good
that
grief.
go votes. But we all complain that the current city council, but we didn't go vote. I mean, I had someone ask me after the mayor's race, 2 weeks after the mayor's race, Randy, how's the campaign going? And I said, the vote was 2 weeks ago. And they were totally embarrassed, obviously. But, they didn't go vote. And so,
are we to the level? I mean, people talk about us trying to beef it up. Shake the bushes, get more people up there voting. Are we to a point of apathy that it's just not going to happen?
Well, and I think that's the boy, and I hate to say it, but it's the we're playing right into the hands of the socialist crew that's taken over our city. We're playing right into their hands because that's what they hope we will do, is become apathetic to the whole thing and quit paying attention because no one's listening.
Because apathy will breed non-involvement completely.
Right.
I mean, absolute.
Right.
So instead of wanting to get an oar and help row the boat and help decide where the boat's going, you go, I don't think I can make a difference. I don't care where the boat's going. I'm not going to row. Which means they now have control over everything you're doing.
Right. That's why when I was running for mayor, I said, listen, I want to serve. I want to serve. If I don't get elected mayor, I'm going to be on some committee, right? I serve on the Board of Adjustment, and I serve on the City Finance and Audit Committee. And I'm not bragging about myself, but guess what? I'm watching. The city, the city finance staff knows they've got a committee in there made up of people who are not just falling lockstep in with them. I question everything, because that's what we're supposed to do. That's
Is that
what
an
the
appointed commission? Is that a
the
elected
city
position?
council actually voted me on that. So
That's really surprising, right?
I know it's really I know. So
what a strange turn of events that come around eventually.
So you don't have to just be on city council. You don't have to just be the mayor. Get involved. I mean, and you don't even have to be overly educated. I'm proof of that, right? You get involved. So
it's funny because when I talk to individuals, take politics out. You're just talking about stuff. How you guys doing today? Oh, you got a new puppy. That's cool. How the kids doing in school? This and that.
Right.
Eventually, you'll get to something that's exciting for them or something that's pissing them off.
Right.
like they needed some help from the police department and somebody didn't show up for an hour. That would be upsetting. And at that point, we're not talking politics. We're not even talking policy. We're talking about real life. We're talking about that you didn't get the help that you needed at that time, or that you live in Thornbrook and in this time of the year you have trouble getting water at a certain time of the day.
Right.
And you're not talking policy. You're talking, I turn the faucet on and it's not happening. Or they're telling you there's a boil order because the water level pressure dropped so low, we don't know which direction the water went. And it's only supposed to go one direction.
We don't want that stuff off the bottom. So.
Right. And so then you're given a boil order until that gets cleared up. It's not about policy. It's about you don't want to have to do that. And you're wondering why you don't have clean water that's coming out
And
when
then
you turn the faucet.
People get mad at everyone who's sprinkling their lawn.
Yeah.
Hang on just a second. Right.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
Is that the problem? Well, it is now that we don't have enough water. But how did we end up in the situation where we don't have enough water?
And again, for people that don't know the issue, if you're listening, watching from some far distant land where you have water conservation issues going on, we don't have that issue on a regular basis ever in Columbia. We just don't have the way to get the water from the water plant to people's homes because there wasn't a water tower put in 9 years ago when we okayed it.
Right. And then when you get involved with it, and I have just sort of loosely been involved on the water tower issue out by Thornbrook, it's finding someone who will let you put the water tower up. Bring in the school district. Yeah, you're not putting you're not putting the tower on our land, and there's property around there that could be used, but people are not participating with the city. I mean, the city wants it for less than it's worth.
Yeah, but the reality is that it could have gone into a lot of locations if it had been done 9 years ago.
Yes.
And when we wait until 7.5 years into it and then ask the school district if we can put a water tower right next to their middle school, and they go, no, you know what, you can't. We can't blame it on them.
No.
And that. You guys waited too long.
Right.
And you know what? It's not getting better. Every day it's getting worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we haven't made a move. You're gonna have to pull out the checkbook now.
Yeah.
I don't
Is that
know.
on the listing for all the new houses on the south side of Columbia? Like, beautiful walk-in 7-praise shower. None of them will give you water, but they're in there.
Did you put that in the home you redid?
Yeah.
A 7-spray shower? Is that
Lord,
what you
no.
said?
No, I do have my little handheld, though. I love that
You know,
thing.
there was a time the only person who had a 7-spray shower was Hugh Hefner. I mean, nobody. I mean, who has that kind of crap
He needed
going
to
on?
clean those crevices.
Well, the grotto did get bad. I'm telling you what.
Oh, man.
Let's talk about the difference between what the city's asking for and the amount on the tax and the county on this jail. And what the county has going on with the jail is more of a specific thing. I'm not saying that safety isn't important. I'm saying this is really like, bam, targeted on this thing. Our jail is way, way too small and outdated for what we need in Boone County. And if we need the prosecutors and the judges to do more of their work that we're doing at the county level with the sheriff and at the cities levels of multiple cities out here, we need a bigger jail. And we are farming out inmate care to other counties around here, and we need to bring it in, and we can actually start making money from other counties if we do that. So, and I believe in the sheriff of Boone County, and he's going to be around for a while to come still. And I trust him. And their request, is it a 3/8 cent?
Yeah, I'd have to go.
Because I've got my ballot, but this is for August, and I believe it's not the full 1%. It's closer, I think, to a 3/8. I don't have it in front of me right now.
Yeah, and I don't either.
But I'm glad theirs is a little more. 1% is a lot to ask at one time.
It is
isn't
3/8 of a cent. Yeah.
3/8 cent.
Yep.
So 1% is just a lot to ask right now on the other. But let's go to the county. So what's your vision on that?
Well, I mean, if Dwayne Carey says we need more space, and we all know we need more space, and if the prosecutors and the judges are making decisions based on capacity rather than whether someone's guilty of something or do they need to be housed while we're waiting for them to go to trial, if they're making decisions based on capacity or the lack of capacity, then we need to have the capacity. Right. So, and you know, we elected Dwayne Carey. Let's trust Dwayne Carey. Yeah. If Dwayne Carey says we need that, then that's what we need.
Let's put that in real-world example. So let's say we've got a guy, breaks into a house, he steals stuff, he gets arrested. We've got new officers, right? That guy gets arrested. He goes to court. He would get convicted, and his sentence would have been 2 years in prison or whatever. But Dwayne's over here saying, I don't have a place to put this guy. He wasn't a violent criminal, so then they have to do, it's house arrest or something.
and
like
you know,
that.
I mean,
that's a real world example, right?
It
is,
is.
yeah.
Don't confuse the county jail with Department of Corrections. Those
Oh,
are two
okay.
completely different things.
Okay.
You can be ordered to serve time in jail as your penalty,
Right.
Or you could be sentenced to the Department of Corrections.
All right.
Also, if you're not able to make bail, or if you're not going to be allowed to make bail, you will be held by the county until what time that we find out if you're convicted and what's going to happen to you. Or you could plead it out at some point as well. And during that time, we're housing you. That can easily be 6, 9, 11 months. It's crazy, but it goes on.
Right.
And that's when we start sending people to other counties. We start paying them.
He
And
said we have 200. Do you remember that number? It was 200 something, I think, inmates.
Yeah,
Not
it's-
in ours. It
yeah,
was a lot of people.
It's a lot.
A
And we do a lot of video work to get them to the courtroom via video,
Yeah.
Right.
which is great.
Yeah.
But we still have to move them around.
Yep.
And that means we have to drive over to the county they're in for that one person
Yep.
to pick them up and do something with them and then take them back.
Right. And now you're taking a deputy
Yeah.
off the street
Yep.
to do, this work. So to me, it's not. You can't. Your city can't grow. I mean, it frustrates me because we do all of these things for economic development for the city, and we're trying to lure big companies to move here, and we have all kinds of amenities, and it's a really cool town, great place to live, and irrespective of whether I like the city council or not, I love Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, we have lots of golf courses, we have lots of trails. There's all kinds of things to do. My grandkids are never bored here, right? So, and a lot of it doesn't cost any money. It's just amenities that we have as a city. But as the city grows, you need capacity for, the knuckleheads that need to be in the jail. I mean, it's just sort of a common sense deal, right? It's the same way with our police department. We need to grow the police department. We've needed to do that for a long time. Yep. Apparently, we can't do it just by appropriating the funds out of the budget. We need a sales tax to do it. And
We got to fight climate change, Randy.
Well, we do. That's right. So the same is true with the jail. Yeah. So I mean, we need to put the funding into places where it's not as easy to reappropriate where the money should go, and the jail is the exact same way. And I'll tell you something. I'm saying this about Dwayne Carey. Dwayne Carey's not in the same party with me. I mean, when we go vote on national elections, me and Dwayne are not on the same page.
Yeah.
But you trust him.
But I do trust Dwayne Carey. So irrespective of politics, he is a good sheriff, probably the best one we've had. So.
He has been voted in and reelected. Are we up to 6? Is it 6 times?
I mean, he's been in office 20.
Yeah, it's a long time, and he's still going to go through a couple more terms. He said as long as he can get reelected, and he's got a lot of work to do. I do trust him wholeheartedly, no question. And if I get in trouble, I want him at my front door, keeping the bad guy out, man, all the way through. It is. I think it's an exciting thing to be in a city that grows. To compare Columbia's growth over the last 30 to 40 years to other cities, it's tough to find anyone to compare it to. The closest you can come to, generally speaking, would be a portion of a major metro area where everybody decided they wanted to go across a river and start building a new wonderland over here. And that can be extraordinarily quick. And we see school districts that will explode in that situation. And that happened in St. Louis, in their greater St. Louis area, when people went across the Missouri River and started getting into St. Charles County.
Right.
And I mean, it was huge.
Yep.
But I think that's broken up with different municipalities. The county itself probably had to go through some really tough growing pains during all those years. Right. But otherwise, Springfield hasn't gone through the growth that we've had.
No.
They were already pretty good size. And I think they're divided up into more than one county also.
Right.
And so ours is a different, unique situation.
I never thought about that. Columbia is literally just one county. Like you're talking about the St. Charles County and Springfield. There's dividing lines.
Yeah, and that changes it up, and it spills over into those areas because Columbia's right in the heart of Boone County. We don't spill over into another county.
I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. So so it's good and bad, and it's tough, and it's some of the problems you have with growing pains. While we have a little bit of time left, I want to ask you about a couple of other issues out there. Okay. Coming up in August, we're going to be voting on this state income tax deal. I am dizzy trying to make sense of this whole thing. I look at one simplification that says asking the state if the state lawmakers should be directed to eliminate the state income tax and the General Assembly given the authority to raise state sales taxes and broaden the range of goods and services that can be taxed without needing additional voter approval to speed up that process. Now, I've heard people saying for a long time, we need to get rid of income tax. And I think they're like hungry. They're like, we're right here at the doorstep. We can get this to happen. And the whole time I've been saying, what is this magic thing that you believe is going to happen? So there's my cynical view on this. And they say, you're going to get to keep more money. I'm like, keep more money? At what point?
Do you not know the government? They don't give up money. They just hide it from one place.
That's kind of where I am. And so when people say they're 100% against it, I don't even know what to say to them. Like, why? Why are you against it?
I'm against it, so I'll comment when you're ready.
Can you tell me why?
100%. So the biggest one for me was the fact that, like you said, they can raise the sales taxes. They're also broadening the scope of what they can tax. So, like, services are being brought into things that they can tax. So right now, like, if you're paid for, marketing analysis, right? Like, there's not a sales tax on top of that.
Right.
Well, a $5 candy bar and a $10,000 service is a very big dollar difference. Most of those services that you would wind up paying for are big ticket items. So it's like, oh, I'm going to save a couple, a couple grand a year or whatever on my Missouri state income tax. Yeah, and then you're going to take a beating on everything else that you spend money on.
If I'm in the business of providing services,
exactly,
which aren't taxed right now.
But we all also pay services, and if a business is wind up paying a service tax, it's going to get passed on to the consumer.
Right, and that's where I think it's always going to come down to the fact that there's not going to be smaller government. There's not going to be less money spent at the state level.
Right.
It's going to stay at least as high. And if you eliminate one but open a path that legislators can go ahead and raise without going to the voters, I see it's going to get out of control.
I'm 100% against the income tax removal
Plus,
for that reason.
it's not an immediate removal, Randy. Isn't that correct?
Right. It's a phase out.
It's a phase out. But it's not based on like 5% each year until it's down to zero. It's simply they're going to work on it.
Right. Well, it'll be phased out based on how much is in the pot, right, in the kitty. So, I grew up in Texas. There's no state sales tax there.
No state sales tax.
I mean, there's no state income tax. Actually, yeah, there's a sales tax. So to me, that's what I grew up with, and for the first 35 years of my life, that's what I was used to. I moved to Missouri, and found out what a state income tax was. I'm more in favor of phasing out the state income tax, and the reason I say that is because, first of all, it hurts the development of the state. Getting companies to move here with the state income tax is harder, without a doubt, and you can't mask that with more amenities and the beauty of the state of Missouri on a business. When you're making a business decision,
they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's that bottom number on the bottom
number, right?
Yep.
The other thing is,
now
this
is not about their employees. This is about their income as a business.
Well, it's about their employees as well, because you can't get getting your people to move here and take on a state income tax is not as easy as if we were going to move it to Texas or wherever.
Okay.
So
all right.
It's the same reason you don't see things moving to California, right? Because the cost is just too high. So I'd be more in favor of phasing it out. I like the idea. I've studied this a little bit, and I trust some of the people who are putting it into place. I trust the people who are overseeing it. I think the other thing that a sales tax does is it spreads the burden out on not just the citizens. I mean, not just the people who live in Missouri, right? So it's like having a sales tax in Columbia. Everyone who comes to visit for a basketball or a football game is going to help us pay for our police department.
Sure.
Because they're paying the sales tax, right? The same would be true with the state. So I think Missouri would grow economically with industry moving into Missouri if we didn't have the state
and do you
tax.
believe that sales tax would be comparable to our neighboring states, so it wouldn't be a big deal? I mean, one of the problems you have with anything restrictive or great allowances with our neighboring states would be that our two major cities, Kansas City and St. Louis, are on the edge of the state. And anybody there can go, I'm going to buy a $1,000 couch. I'm going over to Wood River, Illinois. I'm going to pick that up. And of course you would. And right now that's legal. It's not a problem, right?
Right.
So are we going to drive people over into our neighboring states to buy things, or will our sales tax be comparable to Kansas and to Iowa?
Well, yes, it would be comparable. and I don't see that being the issue, especially if we move industry into our state as opposed to being in those other states. There's a reason they don't move across the river because there's a state income tax, not because there's a sales tax. That's not the reason those industries don't come here.
Right.
So I think
tell
we
me
would
about
see
the
growth
services sales tax. Is that is that normal in Texas? Like, you were in Texas for a long time. So like services, do they have this thing that Missouri is talking about doing?
No, that's a new conversation.
I was afraid of.
Yeah, and I don't see it being as bad as you, and I hope it's not. If it happens, as bad as you think it.
I just assume the worst about every government.
I understand, and that's wise. Yeah. No, I don't think we would see that at the level that you're worried about.
For a business person like me, I would wind up filing a new tax that I've never had to worry about
if they
before.
taxed your service.
Right, because I mean,
If
like
they
I don't
tax-
collect sales taxes right now, so I don't do anything.
Sure.
But I would actually have to file a new service tax
Right.
and do the bookkeeping on that. That's kind of a
Right.
bitch. I think the childish view, and that's what I call it. Let's do away with income tax. I'll save money. I think that's childish as hell.
Yeah.
So now, if you've got reasons that'll cause some other changes, that's interesting, and I can consider it for that. I don't believe doing away with the income tax in Missouri is going to save me money.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that it'll save you money. I just believe it would make our state more attractive for industries to move here.
Governor Kehoe is Republican.
Yes.
I don't know if that's why or because he's hell-bent on success and growth in Missouri. He's behind this. I mean, he's absolutely supporting it.
Well, I guarantee you the development, economic development for the state is what's pushing this whole thing.
Okay.
Guarantee
Yeah.
it. It's not, and I don't believe I've heard anyone say that's promoting it say that it would save you money on the tax you pay. It's just going to be a different tax. Now, I will say that if you don't buy as much, you won't pay as much sales tax.
Sure. You don't think it'll also create some black markets for a few different things out there?
Everything creates black markets.
Yeah.
I mean,
a good point.
Legalizing marijuana has created a wonderful, huge black market that wasn't going to exist if we could just legalize it, right? I mean, gambling,
and on and on it goes.
On and on it goes.
On
yeah.
and on. By the way, those little machines have been playing in gas stations, right? Which it's not gambling, but it is.
Yeah.
That whole damn
Yeah.
thing. I went to. I was in a quick shop or something the other day, and there were like 7 machines lined up, and it's close to the front of the store,
Sure.
and they're all turned off. And on every single machine was, this machine is turned off. If you don't like it, talk to your state legislature.
Nice.
Yeah.
Suddenly,
It's amazing how
suddenly
those were-
apathy is gone, and those people are like, I'm going to contact my representative. Yeah.
It's amazing how those things were illegal and they were still operating.
Of course.
I mean, that's just
It is
hilarious.
the damnedest thing. There are a couple of other things out there that are probably worth asking about, I guess. Let's see. These are there's 4 amendments. 4 amendments at the state level. Voters reapproving a 0.1% state sales tax that funds soil and water conservation projects, which I looked at that thing. It is millions of dollars every year with 0.1%. That's all it takes to get millions. But it's been there for quite some time. If we vote yes on it, it goes for another 10 years, and then we have to vote again at the end of that 10 years if we want it or not. So that's that thing. Amendment 2, asking if the position of county assessor in all charter counties, like Jackson County, should be an elected position. I don't know who put the Jackson County. I'm not really sure. Amendment 4 asks if the Missouri Constitution should be amended to make it harder to pass citizen-led initiative petitions. Now this is all boiled down and paraphrased on that. But this specifically is changing how we change the Constitution. Instead of just a majority, we would need a majority in every legislative district,
Right.
congressional district.
Well, this would make it harder to change the Constitution.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So what they've said is even a small congressional district, if it doesn't pass, whatever that idea is that would change the Constitution in Missouri, if it doesn't pass in that one place, then it doesn't pass in the state.
Well, it's not a 100% majority. It's just a majority. So 51, 52%, you're good. So
In each congressional district.
well,
Correct?
yeah.
And right now it just says 51% across the state.
Right.
So
well,
that's the
so
difference.
I think the problem and one of the reasons I like this is because I think the fabric of Missouri exists outside of the big cities. The
Yes.
true fabric of what makes a Missourian. I'm not saying we're not, but the what really makes Missouri with the farmland and everything that happens outside of the big cities. That is Missouri, and you don't want to lose that
Right.
sort of fabric that is the state, and I think this ensures that wouldn't happen. So I think sometimes the loudest voice, whether it's the majority or not, the loudest, and we see that in Columbia with the people screaming about urban camping, which is. This is a whole other time. I didn't even know there was urban camping, but I'm for Amendment 4, and I'm going to vote yes on that because I think we need to make it. You can't just change the Constitution on a whim, and you can't just let St. Louis, Kansas City,
Wag their tail and make that happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't do it
I
they're
would-
the loudest. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot of people there, but if you're talking about, especially if it's a change that would really truly affect others out in the let's call it outstate Missouri, tremendously. Well, I like the fact, Randy, that you're able to share these things. You're not worried about voicing your opinion on this, and I think that's good. I think more people should be engaged to the point that they're reading, that they're learning, that they're discussing and talking. Right. You have to have ears in order to know what to say and how to respond to somebody. Right. You listen, and you're willing to do that. Although, I'm going to tell a little story on you.
Okay.
You ran for city council, and you were not elected.
Right.
I'm not going to say you lost.
Yeah.
Sounds so.
Right.
You weren't elected.
Yeah.
You weren't elected. And then you called me one day, and you said, I'm thinking about running for mayor. And I said, oh, okay. And what I really wanted to say was, well, that last one, how's that working out? Something along those lines. But no, seriously, you had a really intelligent question that you asked me. You said, I have a simple question. Do you remember the question?
No.
You said, am I electable in this city? And I was like, wow. I've had other people ask me my advice on running or not. Somebody wanted to run for city council. They called me and asked me. And I said, my suggestion would be do not run. You're not going to enjoy it. The work is grueling to go through this thing. You've got other things going on in your life that are incredibly important. And I think you've got an anonymity at times that you're going to appreciate having, and you won't get to have it anymore if you win. They didn't listen to me. Yeah. They ran and they lost. But you asked me that question, and I was like, are you electable in this city? I said, damn, that's a good question. I don't know. And I mean that in the most sincere and flattering terms.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are or not. You ran. Not enough people, I think, in your party showed up. Not that it's a party system in running for mayor. But I think there were a lot of other people that did show up for your opposition. I think you have a strong understanding of where Columbia is, and you would have taken a strong voice to help, and you would have still listened as well. Sure. I don't think you had been going across the pond to sign a climate pact with Copenhagen or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's a much different, and I think a lot of people see the mayor that's in there now as like, they like her as a person, and they like what her kindness is towards and what she says are priorities, makes them feel better about life. And sometimes it's tough to go, actually what we need to do is put some money down, buy the land, and get a goddamn water tower built right now.
Sure.
People are like, water tower? I want a mural, which we'll talk about a mural in a moment here with Keep Your Eye on the Crab. Anyway.
You're going to take away urban camping space, Tom?
The
water?
You still ran, and you didn't win. Are you ever going to run for public office again in Columbia?
I wouldn't say never. But at this point right now, where I am in my life and at my age, I would say it would be likely. And part of it is not because I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't want to do the job. I didn't figure out how to get the people that think the way I do. I didn't figure out how to get them out to vote.
Weren't they too busy working?
Well, that may be. But shame on them. So,
and I'll be
honest with you, if you've ever spent any time at all around Barber Buffalo, she is one of the nicest people
Yes.
you'd ever. Engaging. She looks right at you when you talk to her. She's as far as I'm concerned, great lady, probably a great mom. I disagree with her 100% of the time on politics and the way she runs the city. But that doesn't mean I don't like her as an individual.
Before running for and becoming mayor, she was the Office of Sustainability.
Yeah, she's an environmentalist.
That's where her heart lies. And
Yes.
if she wasn't there, we need somebody there leading that charge. Right. And I'm not the one for it, and I'm glad she is there. And she is a very wonderful person to meet, which is why I really don't lean toward I get upset at policy issues with her, but I don't lean toward the people that want to come out and post online and slam the living crap out of her as a human being. It's
I don't like that.
You're going down the wrong path.
Well, they would do the same thing to you once they disagreed with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that get on social media and just hammer people, get a life. I mean, put a real profile picture up so we can see who you are, right?
Yeah.
And we don't need to see your cat, right? Those people, as far as I'm concerned,
I'm gonna go change my
forget 'em.
profile.
Yeah,
picture
I think you probably.
Yeah.
I think you probably should.
Now, I mean, we put a security system in our house because of the threats I got when I was running for mayor.
I bet.
From some of these goofballs.
Good
So,
God.
God bless you. But
Good Lord.
anyway, yeah.
That's getting ridiculous,
Yeah.
man. It's Columbia.
I know.
We did it. Oh my God.
It's all about acceptance and love. Until you
Love.
disagree with me, at which point
Love
I'm
it,
going to come and
accept it.
kill you.
Yeah.
The frick?
I'll be honest, I'm not even a cat person to begin with. So you
Yeah.
put a picture of a cat, I'm not liking it.
cat.
Randy Minshew, local political driver.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's coin that thing.
I will.
Get it put on the golf balls out there. Hey, did you see that old Hawthorne is going to get new
Bunkers.
new sand traps?
I don't know what we're going to complain about if
For somebody that doesn't play golf, that's not the thing that you're in underground that you shoot out of. This is something different
it's a
for
different
golf.
thing.
No,
Okay,
that's-
okay.
that's
Just to
not it.
clarify, I want to make sure I got.
Randy,
Because
thank
I'm
you.
all down with those kind of bunkers.
I
Let's
know
get
you
those
are.
at Old Hawthorne. I'll
I
go
know
over
you
there
are.
for that.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Good to be with
Thanks,
you. guys.
Randy.
We will stay in touch. Very, very cool, man. I love a discussion like that.
Yeah.
And before we got on this morning, I said, I want to talk to people. I want to listen.
Yeah.
I see the 1% safety sales tax in Columbia as a perfect example of, I don't have, oh my God, if I was in charge of making the decision and then implementing, it was just all on me, I think I would start crying and running away, go into a fetal position. It's a lot to say 1,000%. It's the absolute right thing to do. It's like, hold on a second. If you're voting yes, I understand it. If you're voting no, I understand it. But if you can't see the nuance of the different cracks and crevices in the ideology on each side, then you have an issue.
Right.
That's just the way I'm going to phrase it, like that.
Yep.
When I phrase something like that, it gets a little deep. And I'm sorry about that, but that is the way that I am. Let's move on to this.
Are you ready? You gotta keep your eyes on the crap.
You can't handle the crap.
Looky here, there's a big difference between shit and shinola.
As my great-grandfather always said, Matumba, keep your eye on the crab.
All right, this is one of my favorite parts of the show.
Absolutely.
Every week. And I think the intro for it helps me. But the reason is I've always got a nugget I just can't wait to share with you and be like, look at this shit now. Keeping your eye on
I'm just
the crap.
excited to hear Matumba every time.
Yeah, I know. Brought to you by Family Focus Eye Care. Dr. Rich, thank you. He was finishing up a trip, and I texted him on July 5th, early in the morning on July 5th. We're all up on the 4th of July watching fireworks, and I wake him up early with a text, and I go, dude, I need to talk to you about my eyes. And he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, the left one that I had the laser surgery thing on last year, because of the detaching retina, I suddenly have a new. Do you know what a floater is?
Yeah, it's like a little black spot, right? In your
Yeah,
eye?
or
Yeah.
it'll look like almost like it's like a piece of hair or something.
Right.
And it starts floating around your eye.
Yeah.
And you try to look at it, and it runs away.
Yep.
And then it comes back at you.
Yeah.
You're like, go away. Come here. Go away. I was cutting the grass last Wednesday, and I mentioned this on the show last Thursday, by the way, and you weren't here, but I mentioned it. I come in from outside, and I'm like, what's going on with my left eye? And it took me a while to realize I don't have something. I can't rub it on my eye. It's a floater.
Oh, wow.
By the time I was driving into St. Louis on the 4th of July, if a car was far enough in front of me, it would become blurry because the floater's like, you can't see it now.
Whoa.
No, there's no car there.
That's really bad.
It's pretty funky.
Yeah.
So By the next morning, on Sunday morning, July 5th, I texted him. I'm like, I'm getting ready to get on I-70 drive back home today. And I'm like, it's going to be happening again. It was so stressful.
Yeah.
But more importantly than any of that is something going on with this eye. I had just been in 3 weeks before.
Right.
And he had taken pictures of it, and he showed me the laser work that had happened. It's amazing to check it out and what they can do at Family Focus Eye Care. And so I'm like, what's going on? He said, can you make it in tomorrow? I go, I've got to get out of town first thing Monday morning. Can you get me in at 8 o'clock? He goes, absolutely. Just like that.
Nice.
I go in. They get me back there. They take the pictures. He looks at it. He goes, it's okay. And here's what's going on. And floaters just happen. And then they'll just go away.
Interesting.
And sometimes it can be a bigger issue. And you might have to go in. And I go, what do you mean go in? He goes, well, that's when they open the lens. And then they remove the fluid. And then they put new clean. I go, I get a fluid change? I know.
This is you just described my nightmare. So I was like, ah!
Welcome to quote Alice Cooper, welcome to my nightmare.
Yeah.
But I was put so much at ease.
Did it go away?
Oh, no, it's still there.
It's still there?
Yeah, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here.
But he said it should just kind of like disappear over time?
It can move over time. It can
Okay.
change. It can dissipate. It can. A lot of things can, and other things can come around then again too. But because of what's been going on with my eyes, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And he put me at rest,
Good.
and I walked out of there feeling great about it. And that's really what it comes down to. So thank you for that. Okay, keeping your eye on the crap. What are we keeping our eyes on?
Floater or no floater? What are we keeping our eyes
with
on?
or without it. I just want to share this with you that you understand what becomes a priority for the city and what does not.
Mm-hmm.
We are building a park in downtown Columbia. Now, it's a piece of ground like Ameren owned or owns, or it's going to be ours now. And it was contaminated, so they had to go decontaminate it, because if you have kids playing around with the puppies and rolling on the grass, you might want to make sure stuff's healthy.
Man, playing with that mercury and those uranium balls is
Right,
really
right.
satisfying.
Honey,
Look, I glow, Mom.
where'd my uranium balls go? The kids are playing with it outside, dude. I hate when the kids are playing with my uranium balls. So we've got this park that's going to be going in. And
Do you know where? Like intersecting streets or anything?
yeah, it's around like Orr and Ash Street.
Okay.
Those are two of the streets, but I could give you the other two, which are, I think, St. James and what have you. There's a building, the side of a building that will be facing that park.
Okay.
And they're going to paint a mural on it.
Oh, of course.
I think I don't know who the hell's painting the mural. I don't think we're paying for it as a city.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a relief.
But it's going to be the side. Now, it's a metal building. It's not a pretty building. I guess that's maybe why someone thinks there should be a mural on the side of it. We're going to close down Ash Street for a month so this mural can be painted.
A month?
Yeah. And that's the part at which I'm like, I'm not telling you that the mural doesn't belong in a building. I'm not telling you that we do or don't need it for the park next door. Although it's a metal building and there's a bunch of electric lines that come over there and everything, and I think they're going to be there for a long time to come. All I'm telling you is, if the city says we're going to put a mural or a mural is going to be on this thing and they want to paint it, we're going to go ahead and close the street down for a month. They don't have an issue as a city doing that because there's going to be a park next door and they think that's part of pretty and art and we need to have it. But when I say we need to close this street down because we have a problem and the police need to do this and you guys aren't paying it and you're not putting enough money toward the police, I'm speaking to like people that aren't listening at all.
Yeah.
When they prioritize buying a building, when they prioritize advancing some sort of a park feature, they're going to do that and they're going to put that through.
How come they never run out of money for parks and murals?
Well, I'm not certain.
We should ask Randy that.
But if it comes to planning water towers
Oh.
and
No good.
staffing of police department, retirement funding of police department and fire departments, when it comes to transmission lines for electricity, that falls under a different kind of a zone for them, and it falls under their radar, and it's not something they really are that concerned with. I'm not telling you that this is wrong. All I'm saying is, in keeping your eye on the crap, watch these things and understand where are their priorities. And with that, we will move toward the close today. Keep your eyes open to that.
Yeah, man.
Now, when the mural goes up, I'll be happy to tell you, that looks like crap.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that yet.
Well, then when you can't shower south of town, just go to the mural and stare at it.
Yes! Yeah! You and your dirty, filthy, stinky self. We got to get out of here. Today was fun. My friends, Do yourself a favor. Live today as if it were your last. I say to you, hookah hey.